YouTube, how's it going? Frogs Angels is back recapping week 2 of the NFL, talking about Thursday night football and Sunday's action ahead of Monday night's game between the Seahawks and the Bears, which I'll predict the score at the end of this video. Last week's recap went a little long. I'm going to try to shorten it up, get to the point on each of these games. And again, I didn't watch every full game, obviously, so I apologize if I don't cover your team's game as much as you would like. But let's break it down. First 4 games we'll talk about up here. First Thursday night game, 23-34 final. The Bengals dominated this game right off the bat. Ravens defense, it didn't look like a Ravens defense. It was surprising that the Bengals put up points in week 1, even though they played a weaker defense, because we've seen the Bengals offense struggle at times, and they do it again against a team that's kind of known for their defense in the past. Even though there's some guys that, their best players are kind of getting to that age where they may be washed up. Like Suggs and Weddle. I didn't think Weddle had, really nobody on that defense had a good game, but they could play better. An example, A.J. Green, one of his early touchdowns when they were about inside the 5-yard line. I mean, it's okay going one-on-one with A.J. Green. We see guys like Julio Jones get double-teamed. A.J. Green's not that far off from Julio Jones, so you may want to double-team him, but I understand going one-on-one, but they're playing way too far off the ball, giving them way too much inside space, and it was just too easy. The Ravens cannot allow that to happen. Teams cannot allow that to happen. It cannot be that easy for Andy Dalton to hit A.J. Green in the end zone, especially because when he's looking for A.J. Green. A couple of missed tackles on A.J. Green. I mean, he's not a guy that should be breaking a bunch of tackles, so not a good game for the Ravens defense, really the offense. Either they started getting things going. I think Alex Collins could be used a little more. I'm not really sure. They're always trying to go with multiple running backs. We've seen Dixon last week. He gets hurt. They're trying to go back to Buck Allen. I thought at the end of last year they finally figured it out. Alex Collins was their guy, but they're still kind of trying to go back and forth. So I don't know if I agree with that 100%. Looks like the Bengals just had too much speed. It's kind of weird saying the Bengals had too much energy and too much speed. They do have John Ross, one of the faster guys in football, but that's not the reason. The whole Bengals team, including Andy Dalton, everybody just had too much energy. Too much speed. The Ravens looked tired in the first half, and that can't happen. We've seen defenses get tired every game pretty much, but it comes in the fourth quarter, sometimes in the third quarter, and you think that's too early. Well, the Ravens they seemed dead in the second quarter, and I don't really know the explanation for it, and it can't happen. Dominant game for the Bengals. If you watch me or my videos, our videos before the season started, I talked about the Bengals being a sleeper team, being a sneaky team, and shame on me for picking them against them this week because I had a feeling about them. It's still too early to tell, but very impressive so far. On to the next game, the Chiefs versus the Steelers. So the Chiefs go up 38 points, I believe it was, against Chargers and give up 37 against Steelers, and they're still 2-0. And it's because they may have the best offense in football. Patrick Mahomes, so fun to watch, so impressive. Would he incomplete 5 passes, throw 6 touchdowns? Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, just wow. Sammy Watkins had a heck of a game. There's Sammy Watkins we wanted to see all along. Just needed to find his right offense, and it's so impressive. I had my doubts about the Chiefs going into the season, and it was because of their defense. I did not doubt their offense one bit. I didn't think it would be this good, but I didn't doubt it. But the defense is kind of still an issue. Like I said, 38 points, 37 points, but the impressive thing is you're still 2-0 because the offense is ridiculous. But that defense, may lose them some games, but right now, that offense it's something different too. Like, it's so impressive because they had Alex Smith. You get Mahomes, 2 totally different type of quarterbacks. And I loved, even though I hate sitting first-round quarterbacks, especially good ones like Mahomes, sitting them, it made so much sense because Alex Smith is a good quarterback. But what Mahomes was missing, Alex Smith had. What Alex Smith is missing, Mahomes already had. It made so much sense. And they had a plan right away. They knew their plan, and it's just so impressive. Because other teams really don't have a plan. Like, we're gonna sit the rookie, see what happens. We're gonna throw him in. I guess maybe this week we'll throw him in. I don't know. It's just ridiculous. And the Chiefs had a plan. They stuck to the plan. Very impressive. Offense is so fun to watch. Defense is still, if you're a Chiefs fan, you have to understand what I mean. Even though you're 2-0, you can keep putting up points against these teams, but that defense is struggling and will continue to struggle. I wish, you wish they still had Marcus Peters, but I guess that's not the answer. Steelers defense, also an issue. They got guys like Stephon Tuitt and Cameron Hayward, just straight beast. TJ Watt's got a bright future. Bud Dupree played pretty good in week 1. Not too much action here. But that secondary, like I predicted, like I said in the past, I don't think that secondary is good. It really struggled in this one. You are playing maybe one of the best offenses in football, but it's got to get better. And even though you scored 37 points, it kind of showed this week. It didn't really show last week, but it showed that you missed Le'Veon Bell, and you still scored 37 points. Question is, if they had Le'Veon Bell, would they win this game? So it's a messy situation there. Scoring a lot of points, not winning. Defense has got to be better. They need Bell back. Chiefs, very impressive. We'll see where they're at in the power rankings. I got the power rankings on Wednesday. It's tough where to put them. It's tough making power rankings, We'll see where everybody ends up. Dolphins and Jets, much like the Bengals, the Dolphins were a team I kind of liked before the season, and once again, shame on me for picking against them. Very impressive. Maybe not very impressive, actually. Maybe no one playing out of their mind. They're kind of just playing as a team. Nobody's standing out. Everyone's consistent. Tannehill's impressive, but not really wowing. Similar to week one, Tannehill does need to hang on the ball a little better, but I think lost one fumble out of two, if I remember correctly. And I love the D-line depth. I went over that before the season started. D-line depth, there's no one elite anymore on there, but they have such a good rotation. Interior D linemen, they got a long list of guys. That's very impressive. 20-12, it really wasn't even that close, and how the game was. Impressive game by the Dolphins. I think they're a team that will, they're going to lose some games, but I think they're a team that can play with anybody. That's the type of team they are. They're not going to wow, but they've been pretty impressive. The Jets, so impressive in week one, but you can't take away too much from week one. Maybe you can't take away too much from week two yet. Teams are starting to figure it out maybe soon here. I wouldn't really say a bad game for anybody on the Jets. They just got to execute better. Darnold threw some incompletions that he could have had. But you expect that, So not really a terrible game for them. They just got to get the ball and do a better job, get the ball in the end zone. They started off a little slow. Dolphins played a good game. Eagles, Bucks. Man, the Bucks are 2-0. Fitzpatrick is lighting it up, 27-21, and that doesn't even show the game. I thought it felt like the Bucks beat them by more than that. I've been talking about it for a while now, that Eagles defense is good, but that tackling downfield, mainly in the secondary, it's an issue, and it showed in this game. Big-time issue, multiple plays, but the O.J. Howard one was very, very bad. He should not score on that play. Really, Deshaun Jackson shouldn't score on that first play either. Not sure what Mills was doing there. Fitzpatrick is out of his mind. Deshaun Jackson starting to look like he's washed up, but nope, here he is. And all this offense and 2-0, and the Bucks don't have a running game. It's really hard to believe that Ronald Jones can't figure it out. I understand when receivers come out of college, can't figure out a playbook or running routes. What that means is, in the NFL, it's all about reading defenses. It's hard. It's a hard job. Receivers have to read defenses really during the play, just like the quarterback does. But the running backs, it should be pretty simple to figure it out. I'm not an NFL running back, so I can't really say for sure. But it's hard to believe this guy can't figure it out. I think they need him out there. They're winning. They're 2-0, so I don't want to knock them, but I think it's a mistake. I think they need him out there. There's, preseason didn't look good. Maybe practice didn't look good. Oh, that's the reason. But there's a difference between a real NFL game, just not even NFL, just any game. There's a big difference between practice, preseason, and the real game. Some guys just execute. Some guys get it done. I think Ronald Jones is a good football player. I think they need him out there. If they get a running game together, if Fitzpatrick keeps going, they better not put Winston in when he comes back. This Bucs team can light it up. Bucs team could continue to light it up. Defense was impressive in this one. I still have my doubts about the defense. The defense can be beat, but that doesn't mean they can't continue to win games. They're 2-0. Very impressive. Another team, interesting, where I'll put them in the power rankings. Foles didn't play a bad game. There's going to be more explosive plays with Wentz back. He's going to be coming back, but you can't expect too much right away coming off the injury. It is tough, but they'll be better with Wentz. They need Jeffrey back too. They could use another weapon or two on offense. Defense, again, tackling needs to be better. Tackling needs to be better in the secondary. Good game from the Bucs, though. Very good game. Very impressive. Kind of surprising. More games. Browns and the Saints, man. The Browns just can't. They just can't do it. They just can't. It's so unfortunate. They had this game the whole time, So disappointing, but it's just the Browns. It's feel for the Browns fans. I don't know. I don't know how they feel actually, but they played a good game up until the end. The Saints didn't look good. 2 weeks in a row, they didn't look good. They got the win. Is there concerns? Yeah, maybe, but is it time to panic? No, you won. The Saints start off a little shaky in seasons a lot, so they'll be fine. But you can score on this defense. You would think the offense could do better. There's so much talent, and it showed in this game, but why did it get going late? A little bit of concerns. So far, Marshawn Lattimore, hasn't impressed me too much in his second season, so we'll see if he can pick it up. Not impressive, only 2 games in. Very good rookie season. I was high on him, and I am still, but he needs to step up is really my point. Could use more pass rush. I thought Davenport actually played pretty well. Marcus Williams played pretty well. The Saints they can play better, though, but they start off a little slow sometimes, so don't panic. They won the game. I don't think that anybody's panicking anyways. So, the Browns got to get it done. Kicking was an issue. They signed a kicker recently. We'll see it. We'll see if it fixes it. Colts 21, Redskins 9. I kind of mentioned, and I thought week 1 that the Redskins Cardinals game was just more. The outcome was more of the Cardinals playing bad and being coached poorly. And I think I may have been right on that. The Redskins scoring 9 points against the Colts is just unacceptable. The Colts got a bright future on defense, but I still think it's really not a great defense, so you should be able to score points. The young talent on that Colts defense, very impressive in this one. Bright future. Impressive game in this one, too. They really stopped the run well. Go look at Darius Leonard, the rookie from South Carolina State. Go look at his stat line if you haven't seen that yet. Heck of a game out of him. They got a couple young guys that are really going to be good in the future. Kamoko Toure I like a lot too. Impressive game for the Colts. Redskins, I believe their leading rusher was Jamison Crowder, the receiver, and their leading receiver was the running back Chris Thompson. I just think it's unacceptable, mainly the running part. How could Crowder lead in rushing? I think Thompson needs to get more carries. He's an excellent receiving back. They need a receiver. They got to score more points than 9. That's kind of unacceptable. That's really all there was to that game. Chargers 31, Bills 20. Kind of impressive, I guess, to see the Bills get 20 on the Chargers, but, it really wasn't as close as maybe as the score showed. Chargers got off to a really good start, and that was the difference in this one. The Bills, it's just a very messy situation. Josh Allen's going to struggle early. That's okay. But really, other than that, they got some beasts on defense. I like Jordan Poyer. I like Tremaine Edmonds. Micah Hyde had a pretty good season last year. Tre'Davious White had a good rookie season, but they can't really get it done. The Chargers do have a good offense. Melvin Gordon got 3 touchdowns. Didn't really do a good job running the ball, though, honestly. 3 touchdowns, but 2 were receiving. Eckler's been very impressive. But Melvin Gordon, very impressive catching the ball out of the backfield. That was his big weakness in the draft. He would have went much earlier in the first round if he was good at catching the ball out of the backfield, and he's really come a long way, and he's gotten so much better at that. So that's very impressive. Bills, it's a messy situation. I just never agree with that coaching staff. They have some talent on that team, but it's going to be a bad year. Is really what it is. Vikings and Packers 29-29 overtime. I can talk all day on this game. I'll try not to spend too much time on it, but wow. Where do I start? Messy, sloppy game from the start from the Vikings. Nothing was going their way. Started with a blocked punt for a touchdown for the Packers. So the Packers got one there. The Vikings got down early. Almost looked like the game was over, but then the talent that the Vikings have really, really showed. And they came back in that game. And really the whole time, really the whole regulation, I was saying, how did the Packers not put this game away? They had so many opportunities, so many things didn't go the Vikings' way, and they couldn't put it away, and it just shows the talent the Vikings have. The Packers' defense was very impressive in the first half. The secondary was very impressive in the first half for Green Bay. I thought, the Vikings receivers just couldn't seem to get open. They got Diggs and Thielen, ended up showing at the end how good they were, but very impressive coverage early on. Vikings couldn't get anything going. I didn't really like their play calling early. It was almost like they thought they were winning. They were playing conservative. It was weird. And as soon as they got down, that really helped the play calling. They really just let Kirk Cousins throw downfield, and he had himself a heck of a game. So it's pretty exciting to see what Kirk Cousins and the new offense coordinator are going to do as you expect them to get better. Man, Treadwell got his first touchdown, but then he had a couple big drops. One went for an interception. At that point, the game really should have been over. A couple questionable play calls for the Packers, throwing the ball, stopping the clock, gave the Vikings the chance. And all the talk right now is the roughing the passer call on Clay Matthews and people blaming on that. But if you rewind a little bit, the Vikings got called for one too. So you look at Kendricks had Rodgers wrapped up around the waist while Rodgers still had the ball actually. So honestly, you can complain about both of those. Led to a Packers field goal there, and then the Packers Clay Matthews one ended up leading to the Vikings really tied the game because of that. So really all 4 quarters, I'm saying, how did the Packers not put this away? How could they not put this away? And then at the end of the game, it's just you're saying, how did the Vikings not win this game? Poorly coached game out of Minnesota, I'd say, and that's surprising to say. First half, I didn't agree with the play calling. It was better in the second half, but they really had no choice because they were down so many points. So you can't really credit them for that. And then at the end there, you had 2 timeouts. You had time. I think the Packers defense, the Vikings were finding weaknesses in the Packers defense. They were very, very tired. You can see it, which is expected at that point of the game. Very long game. I think the Vikings could have walked in the end zone. Murray was getting yards on them. And to not even, I understand not going to the end zone, but to letting the clock run down, like you don't want a 30-yard, you don't want a 32-yarder, you don't want a 30, you don't want a 25-yarder, you don't want a 20, you don't want a touchdown, you want a 35-yarder, and then the guy misses it after he already missed 2 kicks. It's unacceptable. I was blaming the coaching staff right off the bat. I eventually heard that the special teams unit, coaching staff, the kicker said they wanted it in that spot. So I guess you can't blame the coaching staff too much. He trusted Zimmer. They trusted his kicker. I don't know why he wanted a 35. Why wouldn't you want it closer? But I can't tell you the answer for that. It was a weird game. A very, very strange game. At the end of the day, I really think the Vikings are the much better team. I think they started, missing 3 field goals. I know Crosby missed one too, but he hit quite a few. Missing 3 field goals and having a block punt for a touchdown, and you still tied the game. I guess that's the positive for the Vikings fans, but they need a kicker. They need a kicker. The run blocking isn't too good. I don't know. Rodgers played a heck of a game. Picked out blitzes very well. That's hard to do against the Vikings. Mike Zimmer's defense. That's not surprising though out of Rodgers, but Kirk Cousins was very impressive too. So, very strange game. We'll go on to the next few here. Panthers and Falcons. There's the Falcons team. Everyone was already doubting Matt Ryan after week 1. It was just week 1 in Philly. Hard place to play. I just got an alert. We got Cowboys have former Steelers quarterback Landry Jones in for a workout. I don't know what that has to do with this video, but I might as well say it. And the Vikings are signing Aldrick Robinson, wide receiver. I just mentioned the Vikings. Laquan Treadwell hurt them a lot, even though he scored a touchdown. But I think anybody could have scored a touchdown, and they bring another Stacey Coley, another backup receiver. He drops a big catch, and then it was almost picked too. So a couple things that just popped up for me. Thought I'd share them. 31-24 Falcons. Yeah, Matt Ryan played a good game. That run he had for a touchdown was very impressive. Tevin Coleman. One of my hot takes before the season was Tevin Coleman would be their best back this year. It has to do with Devontae Freeman being hurt. But Tevin Coleman, to me, is a heck of a running back. If he walks, he goes somewhere else, he can be a top back in the NFL. Big-time average for him. He could have got the ball more. You're up most of this game. Give him the ball more, but you still won. Good game from them, despite having defensive guys injured. Panthers defense did not play a good game. Cam played a heck of a game. I still think Cam needs more weapons. Christian McCaffrey, heck of a day, catching the ball out of the backfield. He could be a better runner. But they were down most of this game. DJ Moore, they got to use more. What do you have? 1 catch. He went 51 yards for a touchdown. I do like Jarius Wright. They could use him more. But Cam, I like Cam a lot. Heck of a quarterback. Offensive line was not good in this one. He needs a little more help. But there's the Falcons team. Everyone doubting them. They can still get up 24 points. I'm not guaranteed they're going to be an elite team, but that was more like it. Texans Titans, man, 17-20. If you're a Texans fan, you gotta be you got to be just so disappointed is my prediction. You're going into this game, you're playing Blaine Gabbert. The Titans are missing their best offensive lineman. Mess of a week last week. Like, how do you not win this? I know it's in Tennessee. How do you not win this game? Like, oh, man. I mean, you're not going to lose confidence, I don't think, if you're a Texans fan, but you got to be very disappointed. It's just got to be a sad day because you play Blaine Gabbert and the Titans after a loss against the Dolphins. I think you got to win this game. Couple of trick plays early for the Titans, but, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Players look good in this one. Will Fuller is very exciting, very fun to watch. DeAndre Hopkins is playing. The factor is the Texans' offensive line and their secondary, very bad tackling in their secondary. These are the problems I mentioned months ago for the Texans, and they're showing big time. Watson could be better. That last play of the game, oh, man. He wasted 17 seconds on that. There was so much room to run. I know it's a little scary running on that, but you wasted 17 seconds, and there was still time after the play, even though they ran out because they had to run up to the ball. He could have ran for 20 to 30 yards and ran out of bounds, and they could have got a field goal so easily. I know it's hard to tell yourself to run on that, but I'm 100% certain he would have got at very least 20 yards running out of bounds, no problem. The space was unreal. Very, very good blocking on that play for the Texans. He had all day for some weird reason, but, well, I think it was mainly because the Titans were dropping back into coverage. Very, very good coverage from the Titans on that play. So impressive. Adoree Jackson's been insanely impressive. He's a guy that I thought would eventually figure it out, but I thought he would struggle at first in his early on in his career because he did show some struggles at USC at times. He was flashy, but he's been so impressive. I mean, he's maybe been their best player. Derrick Henry had himself a good game. Corey Davis, Taywan Taylor. Corey Davis had that fumble. I think Deion Lewis saved the entire game hitting out of bounds. But some guys are starting to step up. Weird that they win with Blaine Gabbert. Couldn't win with Mariota. What's going to happen there? I mean, it's got to be Mariota, but the guy needs to stay healthy. Seems to be missing a game or two every year from weird injuries, hamstring, fingers, whatever it is, hands. He can't feel his hand. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know how the Texans can't win that game. It's not looking good for them now, but too early to lose confidence. Cardinals, Rams, 34-0. Cardinals need to wake up. How do you not? I know the Rams defense is maybe one of the best. Maybe they're the best team in football. See where they come in the power rankings. It's a battle up there at the top, in my opinion. Cardinals got to score. You want to see David Johnson get more carries, but there's an excuse this week. He got down early. You shouldn't get down that much early. Last week he should have got the ball way more. I don't care what the score was. I don't like the coaching so far. The players can't really do anything. The offensive line's terrible for Bradford. Bradford could be good, but he needs a good offensive line. He needs more weapons. I think it's time for Josh Rosen because if Bradford's if he thinks he might get sacked, he kind of curls up, takes the sack. He hates seeing that. That's not a good thing, but I think he can throw the ball. I don't know. Cardinals are battling the Bills for that 32 spot in the power rankings. It's unfortunate because they have some talent here and there. Lions, Niners. Lions came back in this one. They gotta play the whole game like they did at the end. They had a legit chance to come back and win this game. But that defense a little rough for the Lions. That really like last year. That run defense is rough. It might be worse this year. Let Breida run all over him. That big run. That run defense is one of the worst in football. It's got to get better. They got to get more of a pass rush. Jimmy G didn't really do too much. He didn't have to. They can't let him come back like that at the end. There really wasn't much time for the Lions to get more points, and they kind of allowed it. But the Niners, overall good game. A couple young guys stand out in that defense. DeForest Buckner is going to be he's already good. He's going to be so good. I think Solomon Thomas could be better, but he's still very young. Linebacker unit, they need to get Reuben Foster back. Well, they don't really need to because the linebacker unit's playing very well, but if they get him back, it's Fred Warner's 2 weeks in a row. So impressive. Elijah Lee had himself a game. One of my sleepers in the draft a couple years ago. He wasn't even drafted by the Niners. They pick him up. He ends up being pretty good. So some young talent that's pretty impressive. Niners got a bright future. Defense is going to hang on there. The offense could hang on to the ball a little longer at the end there. Lions, rough start, not looking good. I think I mentioned this before. The front office of the Lions, even Lions fans, there's nothing wrong with it, but they got to believe they can win now. They got to believe, maybe they're not like, we're going to win the Super Bowl, but they believe we got a shot. We're going to make the playoffs. They get in Matt Patricia, but little do they know, they really have to rebuild this defense, I think. They really do. Jared Davis actually finally stepped up. He wasn't really living up to the hype. He actually did a good job rushing the passer, honestly. Maybe the best player on the team getting after the quarterback, bringing pressure, and that wasn't really his game. So they're finding new ways. I like that for him to step up, and he had a pretty good game. I got big-time players like Ziggy, like Darius Slay, but they need more. They also need to get Kerryon Johnson the ball more, in my opinion. I think he's a very good back. I think they got too many of them that can play. Maybe that's their downfall. I like Kerryon Johnson. I like his future. Get him the ball more. I think Stafford's got weapons. They should be able to score. I mean, they scored 27 points in this one, but they got to get going. They got to play like they did at the end throughout the whole game, and the defense got to step up. That's bottom line. All right, next four. As you can see at the bottom, there's my score prediction. It stayed the same for my score predictions. 27-17. I wanted to give the Bears actually a little more points because there's some missing guys in that Seahawks defense. Big-time player Bobby Wagner's out along with some other guys. But I think this is a good prediction here, 27-17. You never doubt Russell Wilson, so I'm not going to rule out the Seahawks, but the Bears should win this game. They're the much better team, even though Russell Wilson's on the other side. All right, Raiders, Broncos, 19-20. The Raiders had this game in control the whole time, and the Broncos win at the end. Phillip Lindsay battling for that Rookie of the Year. Hidden gem they got. He wasn't too hidden, but I guess in the draft he was. Kind of a known guy, but they got one there. Everyone was hyping up Royce Freeman, and he got Phillip Lindsay running for over 100 yards, 107, something like that. Even though he looks pretty good, the Raiders can't let that guy run for that many yards. They shouldn't let anybody run for like that. Keenum, back-to-back games where I don't think he played well. I don't think he played good games. They still win. He's still better than their past quarterbacks. He may cost them a game. They're 2-0. You want to see them play better teams. They're 2-0. Way to fight to the end. Good win. A lot of problems with the Raiders there. Derek Carr looked pretty good. Not enough points, I guess, but the Broncos defense is pretty good. Amari Cooper had a good game. Defense is just an issue as we expected, even though they only gave up 20. That's kind of borderline. Is that too much? It was pretty good for the Raiders defense. Got to stop the run better. Got to rush the passer better. Gruden quote of the week, an actual quote. They got to be better rushing the passer, and maybe they'll try some blitzes. Interesting. I don't know if that was word for word. The end part was maybe we should try some blitzes. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So, Broncos 2-0. I guess that's impressive. Want to see them playing better teams, though. Patriots and the Jaguars. 31 points out of the Jags. Patriots defense. Maybe that's the Patriots defense I kind of expected. Very impressive game from Blake Bortles. Keelan Cole is legit. Hidden gem there from a year ago. Not just because of the one-hand catch. That touchdown he had, too, perfectly placed by Bortles. Those were the throws he wasn't hitting against the Patriots that would have won them the game, even though he didn't play terrible against the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. Those throws would have won him the game. He got it done this week. The Jags outplayed him in the playoffs, too. Before the season started, I picked the Jags in this game. And then, once again, shame on me for changing my pick. I picked the Patriots to win. Good, heck of a game for the Jags. Heck of a game for Bortles. They got Tom Brady frustrated, but the receiver issue is showing. What was it? James White, a running back led in receiving yards. So many running backs led in receiving yards for teams this week. That's good that you got a running back that can do that, but to me, it's not good. Where's your receivers at? Patriots need one. Bad game for them, but it's mainly credit to the Jags, how they played. No Fournette. Yeldon played a good game. I think I saw they're 4-0 without Fournette. I think that's coincidence. I think Fournette's a heck of a player. He needs to stay healthy with these minor injuries. Where are the Jags going to be in the power rankings? There's a battle at the top there. I didn't even make my power rankings yet. They're coming tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday. We will have NFL pick'ems tomorrow night during the day, college football pick'ems, and then Wednesday will be my power rankings. It's going to be an interesting one. Giants and Cowboys, 13-20 Cowboys win. I said this video was going to be shorter. I'm pretty sure it's going to be about the same length, but whatever. Random thought there. Giants, Cowboys, 13 points. Doesn't show the struggles the Giants had on offense. They just couldn't get it going. 13's a lot for how that game went on. And, 13's not a lot of points. Saquon couldn't get anything going. Odell couldn't get anything going. Eli didn't play necessarily bad. The offensive line's an issue. I never really was a huge fan of Shermer's play calling. I guess that was not the problem, but I'm not a huge fan of it. they got Evan Engram going, but didn't really do much. It didn't really help them win. They didn't really get him going in week 1. I didn't like that, so I did like they got him going. Offensive line's an issue. Right side of the line's an issue. Saquon couldn't really get anywhere. Maybe that's the line. The Cowboys are a defensive team. Who would have thought? A couple of young guys. Jalen Smith had a game. That's the Jalen Smith. Actually, not even. He's almost there. Loved one of the best linebackers I've seen in college. So hopefully he continues to stay healthy, continues to figure it out. Chidobe Awuzie is very impressive. The Cowboys' weakness we thought was defensive tackle. They did a good job stopping the run. Yeah, mainly those linebackers. Those linebackers can hit. They can tackle. That's for sure. Van Der Esch was pretty good. 2 weeks in a row. Cowboys are a defensive team. Who would have thought? It wasn't mainly the Cowboys playing good defense. Was it the Giants' offensive struggles? Both. You can say the Giants didn't look good. Bright future for the Cowboys on defense. Offense needs to figure it out, but maybe they get Josh Gordon. I heard 8 to 10 teams calling about him. That could be big time. Maybe once they get their healthy O-line, full health. Tyron Smith could play a little better. Maybe they'll get going. Maybe it's a playoff team. So defense has impressed me. Offense has not, but defense has impressed me. So that'll do it there. You can see my score prediction. I already talked about that, but you can see at the bottom. I'm pretty pumped for this Monday night game. Our very own Danny Provolone is going to be at Soldier Field. So once we get him back on the show, we'll hear his thoughts on the recap from Monday night possibly. So, yeah, we got college NFL pick'ems tomorrow, which is Tuesday. Wednesday, power rankings. We'll get score predictions for week 3 pick'ems later in the week. Live streams on Friday. Sorry that our live stream got canceled last Friday. Apologize for that. But we still got weekly videos here. Thanks for everyone's support. It's been great. Subscriber goals, 10K subscribers. So if you aren't a subscriber to the channel yet, please click that button. Please click the like button as well. That'd be much, much appreciated. That'll do it for this one. Stay tuned for weekly NFL content. We got all kinds every single week. Thanks for watching, everyone. That'll do it for this one. Goodbye.